Hello, everyone. I am Miss K. I hope you are having a wonderful day. I am so excited about today because we're going to have an informational interview with Miss Cameron Brown. Again, I'm Miss K, and today we're talking about all things human resource, IRS, workplace readiness, job exploration, and understanding how you can become a qualified person, a qualified student, a qualified individual for the IRS. Okay. So, we're going to dive into some really important questions that you need to know. Because these questions are important, it is important that if you could record or take down some notes or even share this with a family member like your parent so that they can also know the information that you are getting. It would be great for you to do that. Again, take some notes and we will slow it down just so that we can make sure that you can hear everything we are saying clearly. Okay. Again, I am Miss K Johnson, and the purpose of these informational interviews is for you to become more work ready and understand how to explore the job workforce. Today, I want to let Miss Cameron introduce herself and who she is.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cameron Brown. I am a recruiter for the Internal Revenue Service. Just give you guys a little background about me. I have worked with the IRS for 15 years now. I started with the IRS 15 years ago on an entry-level position. I started as a ERC representative, where you go in, you answer the phones. But the IRS is such a diverse workforce, and there are so many opportunities that are available that the growth potential is phenomenal once you get into the IRS. A little bit more information about the IRS. One thing is, a lot of people, when you hear the IRS, you think of taxes, right? Everybody's like, oh no, I don't want to do taxes. I don't want to work with taxes or things of that nature. I get people that stop me all the time and they ask tax questions, but believe it or not, you guys, I don't know anything about taxes. I have worked on the human resources side of the IRS since I've worked there. Right. So that just tells a little bit about the IRS. It's a huge entity. Even though taxes is the front face of the IRS, it's not what everything about the IRS. Right. One thing we want to talk about to tell people is why work for us. For example, for the IRS, we value diversity. The work we do is meaningful because the work that we do collect taxes, but those taxes, they pay for our infrastructures, they pay for our forests, our parklands, our schools, and things of that nature. We also offer job security and career growth opportunities. Like, for example, like I said, I've been with the IRS for 15 years, and I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. I started out entry level and I have worked my way up throughout the years. And then our benefits. We have amazingly awesome benefits here at the IRS. Some of the benefits that we offer here at the IRS, we have competitive salaries, right? You come in at a certain salary. You know how sometimes you're at that same salary 5 years later at some private companies? Well, the IRS, you're constantly growing, you're constantly moving up, you're constantly getting a higher salary till you get to your full working level. And with the IRS, we also have 11 paid holidays, um, 13 paid vacation days, 13 paid sick days. We also have transportation subsidy. We have an incentive awards program, health and life insurance. Um, Everybody gets health and life insurance when they come on board. There is no waiting period. One of the big things that we just implemented within the last couple of years is we have a child care subsidy. And with that child care subsidy is the IRS will pay up to, I want to say, about $350 per month towards your child care expenses. So if you have children, that's a really good thing that you can take into consideration. We also have the student loan repayment program. I was one of those lucky people who got my student loans paid for. It was the best thing ever. I thought I won the lottery. We also have the a great retirement system, the TSP or the 401k, 401 account that you can sign up for. So the IRS, we have a lot of benefits that people can take advantage of. We also have what we call non-competitive appointments, right? With the non-competitive appointments, those are appointments where we have some of our veterans that come in under a VRA appointment or a 30% disabled veteran. Um, One thing that a lot of you guys might be interested in is the Schedule A appointment. The Schedule A appointment is basically, it says to qualify under the Schedule A hiring authority, it's for individuals with disabilities. It says you must be a person with a severe physical, psychiatric, or mental impairment that is substantially limits one or more major life activities, or intellectual disability, psychiatric disorders, or muscular or neurological disorders, right? So, with that being said, anybody can work for the IRS. Sometimes you might think, well, I might not have the ability. Anybody can work for the IRS. We do have some announcements that are out there that might say Schedule A, right? And as long as you submit the proper documentation, you can be hired under a Schedule A appointment. So the proper documentation to apply for a Schedule A appointment is basically just a Schedule A letter from your doctor's office that says that you might have a disability. And once that letter is signed, you just upload that documentation with your application. So now that I've talked to you guys about the benefits of working for the IRS, we have great benefits. The growth potential once you get in the door is phenomenal. So let's talk about some of the positions that we do have here at the IRS and how to apply for those positions, right? So right now, some of our entry-level positions that we are hiring for, we have tax examining technicians, are also called a tax examining clerk, right? And with the tax examining clerk, basically what the position is you would receive and process cases. You would basically, they send you paperwork. You would log in that case, meaning that person's name, that person's information, things of that nature into the computer. You would basically send out emails. Then you would close the case saying what you did to with the case. You sent out the email, you corresponded back with this person, things of that nature, and that's how you would close that case. So it's basically entry level clerical paperwork position. Okay. Um, the next thing we're going to talk about is how to apply for IRS positions. To apply for IRS positions, you would go to usajobs.gov. And once you go to usajobs.gov, the most important thing is to go ahead and set up a USA Jobs account. When you set up that USA Jobs account, you're going to put in your information and then create a resume, right? And I know sometimes when you create a resume, some people might not know how to create that resume or what to put on that resume because that can be sometimes difficult. And we're going to talk about that here in just a moment, okay? So when you apply for the job, a lot of times you apply for that job and you say, I haven't heard from anybody and it's been a couple of weeks, right? With the IRS, the application process can be a little bit lengthy. We do have 30 to 60 days to get back in touch with you once you apply, okay? But when you apply for the positions, most positions are going to have different levels that you can apply for. For example, the GS5 level requires just 1 year of generalized experience, right? So if you have never done taxes, or you just have a little bit of clerical work that you've done, then you qualify for the GS5 level, right? If you have done clerical work, or if you have been a secretary or something of that nature, then you would qualify for a higher level, which is the GS6 level. Once you apply for that job, like I said, you're going to submit your resume, submit your application. If you are deemed eligible, then you're going to get an interview and a tentative job offer. Then of course, you have to go through the fingerprinting and the background checks, and then you will get a firm job offer, right? But I talked about a minute ago about writing your resume, right? Because a lot of people, sometimes, need a little help writing that resume, right? So a federal resume is a little bit different from what we consider a private sector resume. When writing a federal resume, we want you to be detailed in your resume. We want you to include dates, hours. We want you to customize your resume to the job that you are applying for, right? We want you to use similar terms that address the work that you have done that are similar to the job that you're applying for, right? And just organize your resume to make it a little bit easier to understand and read. I will say one of my positions when I have been at the IRS, I was in staffing. And a lot of people, they think that when we get you guys' resumes, that it goes through a computer process and, the computer reviews a resume. No, we sit down and we look at every single resume that comes through USA Jobs. Everybody that applies, we look at your resume, right? And so that's why we ask people to make sure that you put everything on your resume, because we don't assume your job, right? Make sure that you are detailed in your resume. Um, Break it down exactly what you did. If you were a Walmart cashier, what exactly did you do? Did you assist with the finances? How did you provide customer service? Don't just put, I provided customer service, break it down for me a little bit. Okay. Also, for those of you that need assistance with writing your resume, the IRS actually does offer, or we do have resume writing classes um, or virtual events that we have. We actually have one that is coming up on April 24th from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I've sent Ms. K the information on how to register for that resume writing class if you are interested. There are going to be people that are going to be on there that are going to be able to assist with designing a federal resume that explains each section of the job opportunity, the job announcements, and how to assist on how to write that resume and cater it to that job that you are applying for. So if you are interested in attending that resume writing class, there is a QR code that is listed at the bottom of that page. If you scan that QR code, you can go ahead and register for it so that you can be ready for that class. The next page that I sent Ms. Q is the information about the tax examining technician. If you are excited and you are ready to come work for the IRS, you can scan that QR code there as well, and it's going to take you to the position to apply for the tax examining technician. Once you click, excuse me, once you click on that link, it's going to give you the job description. It's going to tell you about the salary for the job, and all the information that you need is going to be on that um, on that page once you scan on the QR code. Now, also, I was telling everybody there are other positions that are out there for the IRS. If you go to USA Jobs, if you're not interested in the tax examining technician position, if you're interested in, say, maybe IT work or human resources work. Or if you want to be a recruiter like me, it's the best job ever. You can go to USA Jobs, type in your location of Memphis, Tennessee, and then you can also, in the search, put in human resources, or you can put in information technology, and it's going to pull up all jobs that are available on USA Jobs. But make sure that you click on jobs that are open to the public, because if you click on internal positions, it's not going to give you positions that you are eligible for. So for everybody who is wanting to come onto the IRS, um, congratulations in advance. And I welcome any and everybody to apply.
Awesome. So I hope you guys got something from what all of the things that she said. I want to slow us down a little bit and kind of go back to some statements you made. But first, could you tell us what is a typical day like in the work from home position?
Now, each work from home position is different. Okay. It depends on what department you work in. For example, myself, I have worked from home since before the pandemic. And my work is not, how do I put it? Um, my work, I'm not micromanaged. My work is project based, right? So my work, as long as I finish my projects on time, I'm not tied to my computer. Now, every position is not like that, though.
Right.
Every position is not like that. Some positions, like for example, the CSR positions, they work from home 3 days a week, and they go into the office 2 days, right? So, and then their positions, they are on the phone half the day answering calls, and then they do paperwork for the other half of the day, right? They have to sign into the system, and they have to be on, the work is monitored and measured throughout the day, right? So once again, it's kind of hard to measure. Some people work from home 24/7. For example, myself, I don't even have a desk in the office, but other positions, they do work into the office, half the week, and then they're working from home 2 days. Some other positions are fully in the office. So it all depends on the position that you apply for. Um, it depends on, like when you apply for the position, it will tell you over to the side on the announcement if it is telework eligible. If it says telework eligible, then yes, you will be working from home. If it says no, then you will be working in the building. But if hired for the IRS, they will tell you all of that information during the interview process.
Okay. And the key word for to see if it is a work from home job is telework.
Yes, if it is telework eligible.
Telework eligible. Okay, y'all. So if you see that on the job posting, or in her words, the announcement, it will say telework eligible. Okay, I want y'all to be making sure that you are able to see these things very clearly without any confusion and all clarity. You did really great about giving us insight about the difference between the resumes, and even that hiring process, and also how to apply. What are some no-nos or to no, don't do this on your resume or even during the interview?
Um, if you have a in-person interview, make sure that you are dressed for your interview, right? Um, um, please don't show up to your interviews in jogging pants, or just be prepared for your interview, right? Another no-no is when you're writing your resume. I have seen people write resumes before, several resumes that have come across my desk, and it'll say Walmart from June 2020 to uh, February 2023. And that's all it says, right? That's all that resume says. Or I will have a resume come across my desk where they're applying for a tax examining technician, and which is kind of a clerical job. And I had one resume that came across my desk. The person was a mortician, and that resume had everything about being a mortician and embalming bodies. So when I say write your resume, please try to make sure that your resume is catered toward the job that you're applying for. Like for example, in my USA Jobs account, I have two different resumes, right? Because I do have some IT experience. And so I have an IT resume and I have an HR resume. If I'm applying for an HR job, I'm going to send that HR resume, right? If I'm applying for an IT job, I'm going to send that IT resume. So just make sure that your resume is catered to what you're applying for. So those are my biggest things, my biggest no-nos when applying for jobs.
Yes, because remember, you all, she said that she worked in the staffing and they actually read those one by one. So, if you want yours to pass that phase of the hiring process, you want to make sure that you don't just have your name and where you used to work and nothing else, or just the
Right.
date, but you want to make sure that you say your name, your phone number, where you used to work, and what you did at that particular job in that particular role. That is what she's emphasizing to you all, okay?
And we need dates,
Say that again.
dates, dates that you worked at that job.
Don't forget your dates. Again, when you're working from home, there are different departments and there's basically different environments. So some of you all can be doing the whole week in office and some all the time at home. So you have to be very careful or very focused or intentional when you're applying for this type of job. When you talked about competitive salaries, I don't know if my students fully understand what that means for them. So when you say competitive salaries, could you break that down a little bit for them?
Yes. Okay. The easiest way to break it down is the IRS is on what we call a GS pay scale. Okay. Which is general schedule pay scale. Okay. Now, for non managerial positions, that pay scale goes from GS1 to GS15. Okay. So imagine a room full of 15 climbing ladders. Okay. So, for example, on your pay scale, you might come in on you might get hired on a position, and that position might say that it is a GS 5-7. Okay. So what that means is it is a growth potential. It is a competitive appointment that has growth potential, right? So when you compete for that announcement, based on your experience, you can come in at a GS5, you can come out at a GS6 or the GS7, right? But it's okay if you don't come in at that higher grade because we're going to get you there. So, for example, if you come in at that GS5, you're going to come in at the letter 5 in that room. And say, for example, you do a great job that year, and when it comes time for your evaluation, you have a great evaluation, right? So the next year, you're going to hop over to the next ladder in that room, which is the GS6, right? You still do great work, and then you get another great evaluation. The next year, you're going to hop over to the next ladder, which is your full working level, which is a GS7, right? But the thing is, excuse me, you would think that that's the end of your pay increases. No, because remember, it's a ladder. And so once you get to that ladder 7, you're going to start climbing up the rungs on that ladder. So, excuse me, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Once you get to the full working level of whatever your position is, So, for example, you started at a GS5, the next year you're going to get to the 6, the next year you're going to get to the 7. So, you're constantly making more money. So, once you get to that 7, you got another 10 rungs on that ladder to climb up. So, after you get to that 7, the next year you're going to be a 7, excuse me, a 7 step 2. The next year you're going to be a 7 step 3. And then after that, after the 7 step 3, then it's a 2-year interval between the time that you move up. And then from the 7 step 3 to the 6, it's a 2-year, and then so on and so forth. It's a 3-year. Miss K, I'm going to send you the pay scale listing after our meeting so that you can share with everybody. But that just goes to show with the IRS, you're constantly moving up. You're constantly making more money. Some jobs you might start out at, $17, $18 an hour today, and you'll wake up 2 and 3 years later and you've only gotten a 20-cent raise, right? With the IRS, no. You're constantly going to be moving up. And then we also get the cost of living increase depending on what the president feels like that year. So,
Oh
you
goodness.
know, yeah, yeah. Last year was great. I think we got like 4.2 last year. So you get that 4.2 on top of your constant pay increases.
That's amazing. Um, I'm really excited about this interview or informational interview because it's really broad, you guys. When she's talking about these pay increases, she's talking about the opportunity to earn more and to live better, to do more for yourself. So you want to make sure that you're well prepared for something like this. And then I have two final questions, and then we're gonna go. I'm gonna show you all the screen again to make sure you get the QR code. This is a really kind of fun question, and it's asking what type of like personalities are more likely to work with the IRS, or what personality types, not that you have to know the exact name of them, but what type of personalities fit well with this type of industry, with this type of job, because we always teach our children, our students rather, to go for things that interest them, know their likes, know their preferences, and things like that.
It's funny you say that. You know how a lot of times in school, they always try to tell you to be quiet, stop being so talkative. We want talkative people. We want that student who's always trying to help people, who's always talking to everybody, who is that outgoing person. Because a lot of our entry level positions, you're talking to taxpayers, you're helping people. You have to have the ability to not only talk to people, but also how to resolve conflict as well, because sometimes people call in and they're frustrated and why I didn't get my taxes, and you have to be able to talk to that person, make them understand what's going on with their taxes, and then still be just be able to help them whenever needed. And also people who are able to figure things out quickly, somebody who is quick on their feet. Because with the IRS, we're going to give you the training tools that you need in the beginning. But the thing is, we're going to give you ABC, and you have to figure out the rest, right? Because a lot of times, like when you're on the phone with a taxpayer, you have to keep that taxpayer engaged. You have to, be able to do your research while keeping that taxpayer engaged and come up with a solution within 60 seconds. It sounds like a lot, but once you get into it, it'll come as second nature, and it's actually pretty easy.
That's good. So you all, to recap what she said about personality, we want the person that's outgoing. We want the person that's a great problem solver. You can think on your feet. And you also are so willing to help solve other people's issues, even if they are frustrated and angry, or even quick to snap at you. Keeping a relaxed mindset as you approach and help them with their problems is going to be the most considerable thing that you can do for this type of job. I'm actually going to end there. So, students, If you have any questions, please feel free to ask one of your instructors about if they can explain something more to you. You can meet us also on our platform, Facebook, at Divine Intervention Center. If you want more, if you have questions, you can inbox us and we'll get back to you. And also, you can visit divineinterventioncenter.com to view this and to learn more about what we have to offer. And we all want to say thank you to Miss Cameron for coming by today and just blowing our mind with all of this great information about the IRS. It's really been very informational, and I've enjoyed hearing about it and watching you talk about it and light up when you talk about it.
Look, one thing I just want to say too is, when people are looking for a job, it's very rare that you hear people say that they actually love their job. Just last tidbit, before I came to the IRS, I was working a full-time job, right? I was at a IT company as an IT assistant, and sometimes you have to step out on faith. I left that full-time job to come here to the IRS on a seasonal position when we were only guaranteed to work for 6 months. And it
Mm.
was the best decision I have ever made in my life. For the first time in my life, I absolutely love my job. I love working for the IRS. I love my coworkers, and I love being able to help others come on and change other people's lives and getting them positions within the IRS.
Wow. Now that I'm glad you didn't leave that out because that's really, really, really important. Okay. She says she loves her job because she helps to bring people in so that they can change their lives as well. And that's what it's all about, you guys. You want to find things that you prefer, that you like, that you enjoy, even if you have to go through a season where it's like, oh my goodness, I didn't like that as much, but now I've arrived to where I really truly enjoy something. And this is it. So don't forget, I want to make sure, Miss Cameron, is my screen showing the resume QR code for that
Yes.
event? And
Uh-huh.
then here's the QR code for the tax examining technician role, you guys. So I just want to take a little time to go back through that so that you can see that with no issue. Okay, if
And
there be nothing else from you, Miss Cameron, we want to say thank you again for coming to Divine Intervention Center and just dropping all these jewels and gems. We hope to have you back so we can have another conversation with you about what you do and maybe even go deeper dive into this process of being hired, so that our students can be hired in this capacity.
yeah, so we already have a couple of y'all students on board now.
Yay! Awesome. So we'll see y'all soon. Again, I'm Miss K. We're signing off.
Bye, everybody.